Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. Aquaman 2 The Lost Kingdom just came out in theaters, and it's officially the end of the DCEU, so press F to pay respects. This will be my last post-credit scene for a DCEU movie. The next DC movie will be Superman Legacy in 2025 as part of James Gunn's new DCU reboot, so there's going to be a hot second when there are no DC movies in 2024. We'll break it all down. The post-credit scene and the ending of the movie either infuriated you or you're just completely past it and like you don't care anymore. If you're brand new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the videos. There are DC things to look forward to in 2024, like the Batman Penguin series looks like it's going to be fire. That Creature Commando series is coming at the end of 2024. Just no movies from DC in 2024. They're taking a little break with the movies. Careful for spoilers if you have not seen Aquaman 2 yet, but at the end of the movie, Aquaman and Orm team up to defeat Kordax and Black Manta. As suspected, Black Manta was really only the mid-bad of the movie, slowly being consumed by and controlled using the Black Trident. Kordax was the ancient King Atlan's brother, thousands of years old, played by Pilu Abisek, Euron Greyjoy from Game of Thrones. He only appears briefly in his original human form in the movie. Way before the fall of Atlantis, when it sank beneath the ocean, when it was still made of 7 kingdoms, Kordax, his brother, ruled one of the sister nations called Nekris, aka the Lost Kingdom from the comics, which existed in Antarctica. Nekris started to grow more powerful than Atlantis and the other 7 nations through their use of a special fuel source called orichalcum, which is meant to be an analog for modern-day fossil fuels that polluted the environment significantly. The orichalcum was so powerful, so dangerous that it threatened to mutate the organic life of the entire world, melt the polar ice caps, basically change the entire planet in a bad way. It's meant to be a metaphor for the transition away from fossil fuels in present day, like people wanting to save the environment. The other nations of Atlantis barely defeated them and sealed them with blood magic. Eventually, the polar ice caps in Antarctica covered the nation of Nekris. Atlan struck all record of it and his brother from their records before Atlantis sank, so that effectively it became the Lost Kingdom. People just forgot about it over the centuries. Until present day, when Black Manta gets the trident, Kordax starts using the magic of it to free himself through Black Manta, using blood taken from Aquaman's royal bloodline. Here's the thing though, this is where people will be kind of infuriated because it's kind of a nothing type of ending for the movie, especially the main villain. Kordax eventually is able to free himself, but they make quick work of him. He doesn't really have time to accomplish anything before Aquaman kills him. Like it's like, boom, you're out, then you're dead. They wind up burying the Lost Kingdom again in the polar ice. He lies to the other kingdoms, telling them that Orm was killed in the battle so he doesn't have to go back to prison, allowing him to go free effectively, but having him stay off the radar. They basically imply that Orm will come back and help Aquaman with whoever would have been the villain of Aquaman 3 had they done a third movie. Aquaman, Mera, his family have a happy ending. They don't wind up killing his father like all the trailers made you think. The baby lives, Mera, his mother live. And they basically end the movie pulling an Iron Man 1 ending with him basically copying everything that Iron Man did at the end of his first movie. Like it's almost literally a copy-paste of the ending of that movie. He addresses the world in a news broadcast where he reveals Atlantis' existence to the world, like when Iron Man revealed his existence to the world, I am Iron Man, and ends by literally doing the same thing, saying, I am Aquaman. It's crazy how similar the ending is. Like, this will either infuriate people or you just won't care because you're past it. Like, okay, fine, this is the end of the DCEU. While he's giving that speech, though, they set up the post-credit scene where he's talking about embracing both the land and the sea hand in hand, enjoying the benefits of both worlds, as Orm sits down at a dockside restaurant and orders a burger while dressed in casual human clothes. Remember, his whole thing in the first movie was that he wanted to burn and destroy all surface dwellers. So part of the idea is that he's chilled out on that and he's enjoying some of the best things about the surface world. During the actual post-credit scene, which is more of like a mid-credit scene, you see Orm continuing to enjoy his burger and catch a cockroach running across his table, stick it in the burger, then take a huge bite of the cockroach burger, and they really lay it on thick, like they added a big crunching sound in post-production. He smiles, enjoying the cockroach like it's supposed to be a silly moment that pays off Aquaman's speech about Orm turning good. Like he's chilled out and he's finally enjoying the surface world. He's not going to try and kill everybody they can see. But it's also meant to be a silly moment like, haha, he doesn't understand that the culture of the surface world hates the idea of eating that cockroach. The funny thing about that is that in some cultures around the world, bugs like that are viewed as delicacies and are cooked in really special ways. so it's not really weird, even though they play the post-credit scene like a haha funny kind of moment. And that's it, there's no second post-credit scene. Originally, there was like a big deleted post-credit scene that featured a version of Batman. You probably saw this because Jason Momoa revealed it months and months ago, like, oops, I wasn't supposed to tell everybody we're gonna have Batman at the end of our movie. They filmed two different Batman post-credit scenes with two different versions of Batman meant to set up their future Crisis on Infinite Earths 10-year movie plan that the previous regime before James Gunn had been hired to develop. This was back when the ending for the Flash movie was completely different, like there was a bunch of Henry Cavill stuff. They were setting up the next version of the Justice League, like Justice League 2 under this new regime. Not Zack Snyder's version of Justice League 2, like a completely different version of Justice League 2 that involved Michael Keaton's Batman and Supergirl also being on the team. Originally, this would have flowed out of the whole idea that the Flash changed the timeline again at the end of his movie, so it wound up being Michael Keaton on the main Justice League Earth, so he would have shown up in that Aquaman 2 post-credit scene. But obviously everything changed. They changed the release order for the movies, so originally Aquaman 2 was meant to come out before the Flash movie, and it wouldn't have made any sense. That's when they filmed the Ben Affleck Batman post-credit scene that Jason Momoa revealed to the world. That was actually meant to be released before the Flash movie actually came out in theaters. Then, as you all saw, James Gunn was hired late last year after the Black Adam movie came out, like around that same time when Henry Cavill revealed that he'd come back for a bunch more Superman stuff. Like, he literally posted this video on his Instagram telling everybody that good things were coming, like they were going to be making Man of Steel 2. They had a completely different plan for the future of DC movies and all these Zack Snyderverse of Justice League characters. All those movies that they were planning were meant to be like this new era of the DCEU building up to a Crisis on Infinite Earths movie. Then apparently, like right when that was happening, like right as they started doing that stuff, they hired James Gunn and he just flat out chose to reboot everything. Like, okay, we're going to fix the DC universe by destroying it first and just completely starting fresh. That's when Jason Momoa started talking about this being his last time as the Aquaman character, but always having a home at DC. Then Peter Safran, James Gunn's producing partner, who's like the other half of his new Kevin Feige that he has going on at DC now, running all the DC movies, basically said the exact same thing, reiterating that Jason Momoa, quote-unquote, would always have a home at DC, implying that he would be coming back as a completely different character.
Not looking too good.
I saw that Lobo cover and I was like, well...
Look at the guy.
Look at the guy.
I was a big Lobo fan growing up, so I've had every comic. So.
Most people, myself included, just think that that means that he is coming back as a version of Lobo because he's been talking about it so much on the Aquaman 2 press tour. Overall, I was not a huge fan of Aquaman 2. I feel like it's a pretty weak ending for the DCEU and a pretty weak post-credit scene to end on too. Clearly, Warner Brothers was just like, okay, no more editing this movie, like it's fine the way it is, let's just release it, let's just move on to the next thing, stop worrying about it. Normally, if the studio had kind of given up on the movie and they knew it was going to be their last big DCEU movie, you'd think that they would have changed something to give it a better bookend at the end of the post-credit scenes. That'll probably be my biggest complaint about the movie, is they just kind of let it exist as the way it is now. Like, if they knew it was going to be the final DCEU movie, they should have had some kind of moment honoring everything that came before at the end of the movie. I've already done a bunch of other videos about how they changed the Flash movie and like their original plans, what was going on with Henry Cavill's Superman. There's like a bunch of stuff that they wound up deleting from that movie. Whereas Aquaman 2 always sounded like it was meant to be a relatively standalone movie with a couple post-credit scenes that were connected to this other Crisis on Infinite Earths movie stuff that they were building up to. The Flash movie itself was originally planned to be a much bigger jumping off point, setting up Crisis on Infinite Earths. James Gunn's new 10-year plan for DC, like he announced DC Phase 1 essentially, like DC Chapter 1, Gods and Monsters. He didn't announce all the movies that are happening for the next 10 years, just like the first big phase of them the next couple of years. He already said that that's not meant to build up to Crisis on Infinite Earths in the movie. Like, the thing that he's building up to, like his new version of the Justice League movies, will be completely different, like a completely different event. But the pictures that he posted were from Kingdom Come, so it might be inspired a little bit by Kingdom Come, at least the next Justice League movie. But it does look like the Batman 2 with Robert Pattinson is going to be fire. It looks like the Batman Penguin series is going to be great. And hopefully the James Gunn era of DC TV series are also going to be really cool too. All the ones that will be connected to the DCU. If you have any questions about what happened during the Aquaman 2 movie or the ending, the post-credit scene, or just the general future of DC movies, just write them below in the comments. I'll probably try to do a full breakdown of Aquaman 2 with Easter eggs and references from the entire movie later this weekend. There's a bunch of stuff coming out, like we're in the middle of Marvel What If Season 2 episodes. Speaking of Snyderverse, Zack Snyder also released his own Rebel Moon Netflix movie. I'll try to do a couple of videos for that too. That's basically him trying to cook his own version of a Snyderverse that's more inspired by the Star Wars movies over at Netflix, like a completely separate vibe. We will see if he is successful. Everyone click here for all my Marvel What If episode videos, and click here for that new Henry Cavill Warhammer trailer for his new TV series and the new Warhammer movies that he's working on. Thank you so much for watching. Everyone stay safe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.